So tonight we're going to be playing a little bit of Punisher Burn. This deck was really popular during Ravnica Standard when you had Sword Point Diplomacy and Risk Factor in the same standard. Deck's quite a bit different. I kind of took the concept of the deck and I kind of put my own twist on it. We're only playing 18 lands. You're playing for a lot of the stages, and your deck basically curves at 2, and you need to get to 3 to cast Sword Point Diplomacy and Risk Factor. Like, that's just kind of where we're at. We have 4 light up the stages and 4 Voldaren Epicures to help us see extra cards. So I don't think we need more than 18 lands. The only thing that I'm worried we might run into is the Haunted Ridges. That could be a problem, just based off of the fact that Haunted Ridge needs to be your 3rd land to come into play untapped. So it was that or the Reveal land, and I did not like that land at all, so I decided to go with the Haunted Ridge. Sideboard is pretty straightforward: 3 Fatal Push, 1 Murderous Cut, 4 Searing Blood, all solid removal spells. The 3 Roiling Vortex is really good against control decks or anything that's trying to take multiple turns. Curse of Shaken Fate is bonkers against most of the format, honestly. So that's where we're at, and that's what we're gonna do. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump in here. I'm curious to see if this deck actually has any legs, like if it actually does well or not, because this deck, like in the right metagame, I feel like can do a lot. One thing that's very different about this deck that you did not have in Standard is Eidolon. Eidolon helps punish your opponents once you get ahead, and the concept here is to obviously always be ahead here. Sovereign's Bite really helps with that. That card's a 6-point life swing, so I had considered, instead of playing Sovereign's Bite, playing Vampire's Kiss, because it makes 2 treasure tokens. Or not treasure tokens, blood tokens when you cast it. So I thought about putting that in the deck instead, and having that as the life gain spell, because it also creates a way to draw multiple cards. So. And we're already seeing the land problem. That was fast. I like putting the light up the stage back there because it doesn't really play into our draw well. And we have a pretty good hand here. We can apply a pretty decent amount of pressure here, honestly. Plus hitting a land for Sword Point Diplomacy will be really awesome. We'll shock that in. Alright, we put our opponent to 14 in Sego here. Now, kind of hoping they tap out for something so that we can play Sword Point Diplomacy. Okay. This feels like Sultai. This feels like Sultai Lotus Field here. I haven't seen anybody play that card in a hot minute, so. Maybe it's not. Maybe this is like Dredge or something. Like Dredgeless Dredge. Hey, Carly with 13 months. Thanks, baby. I appreciate it. Karn's Temporal Sundering. Interesting. In your graveyard. Alright, so they put 1 card back on top of their library. So hopefully we hit some good stuff here, because if not, it will be a little awkward. They'll give us the Haunted Ridge for sure, and then, they're going to give us the Play with Fire and the Epicure here. They're honestly just going to give us all of these cards, because Play with fire is 2. You're trading. You're actually losing a point by not giving it to us. Really hoping to have a good hit there, but not gonna lie, feels like we bricked a little bit. Sorry, I want to make sure I don't do this backwards. Our opponents had pretty solid mana so far. All 3 colors very strongly online. They have the Tron of dual lands. Okay. That's an interesting card. Into Neo form. Wow. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may cast an instant or sorcery with mana value. Oh, okay, so this is the take a bunch of turns deck. And somehow they put the Swiftspear back into our hand. Not 100% sure how they did that. That's pretty interesting. Play the Sultai Scavenger there so that they can use Neo form to put that into play. That's a pretty interesting deck. So they're going to start stacking the top of their deck to see how they want to put things in there so that they can make sure they have something good to cast off the creature here. I mean, that's pretty good. Feels like we're just dead here. So they're just going to play a bunch of taking turns effects. They only need one more and they kill us here. Yep. I mean, we're really just dead anyway here. Because even if they don't hit it, they put a card on top. I mean, I can't imagine they're not going to kill us. Like that they didn't put something on top. Like that they put an extra... Yeah, okay. Okay. So having Lightning Strike, having the Murderous Cut here is not bad. Vortex is insane because they cast it without paying mana for it. Eidolon seems pretty solid here. I think Epicure is an easy cut. And then I think the Murderous Cut just allows, like, gives us some play here to be able to kill their thing if they go to Neo form it. I don't know how else they put stuff into play, but... Put our opponent to 19. So the question here is... I mean, I'm just going to Lightning Strike them. Like, I don't see a reason to not play Lightning Strike there. Otherworldly Gaze. Yep, seems good. I mean, they can turn 3 us. Like, they can they can combo us on turn 3. Okay, so they're playing Tassiger. They are playing like a fair game plan too. It's not just completely like nonsense here. Okay. This is also how I lost last time, but I mean, I don't, like, we have no other choice. We might as well play the Sword Point Diplomacy here. We're probably also playing, Hooting Mandrills is 5, not 6. Hooting Mandrills is 6. Yeah, so they're playing lots of things here. They'll give us the Mountain and the Diplomacy here, but they'll probably take 3 off the Vortex. Yep, seems right. Well, we can't interact with the Tassiger here, even if we did have a Lightning Strike up. Well, that's fun. And our only out here is that they brick. But even then, it's not really an out because we just have 3 cards that draw us more cards. Why does this thing have Vigilance? Oh yeah, because it costs 7 mana, and when it's played the way Wizards thought it should be played, there's nothing broken about it. He's just going to give me 3 cards here. Yeah, I was like, it'd have to be a full not to. I mean, like against combo decks, like, our game plan's not going to work out very well. Like, these punishing decks just will not win games against, like, I mean, we got turn 3 game 1 and we got turn 4 game 2. Like, by a combo deck that we just were not ready for. And I don't even know, like, we would have had to have had Murderous Cut for the Neoform turn. Like, that, or, like, maybe I should have mulliganed to, like, Vortex. But I don't think mulliganing to a certain card in this matchup, or in any matchup, is right in Pioneer. All right. Well, let's put that behind us and let's get a good one right here. I mean, I think we have to keep this hand and hope we hit a land here. They yield it to the end of the turn. They're going to cast a Consider or something here. Alright, so we're playing the same deck back to back. Well, if this deck is going to run the format, this is not going to be a very fun format. These, like, combo decks are never fun. Neoform has literally created nothing that was fun. Nothing. Nothing. Alright, we're gonna attack, play the Soul-Scar Mage, play the land, and then say go. I mean, like, an early, like, if we could have been able to get Eidolon down, maybe Eidolon could do enough to, like, be able to help us out here. This is another otherworldly gaze. Yep. I mean, if we hit another land here, we can go... If we hit an untapped land here, which, I mean, everything we're playing is untapped from here, we can go Lightning Strike into Skewer, which puts them to 1. But they could also just kill us right here, because this deck can almost consistently turn 3. But they didn't, so we're going to attack for 2 and then play Eidolon. Alright. They keep yielding through the end of our turn, and I just... I don't know, like, I'm not complaining because it's 2 points we didn't have, but... Yep, we'll say go here. I mean, like, as long as they don't kill us, like, untapped land, like, wins the game here. That's the unfortunate part about this, is that we're basically in a spot where we could always just be, like, dead. You can shrink a Soul-Scar Mage. Basically, every deck has an out or 2. Yeah, so I didn't have Soul-Scar Mage last round when I was playing against this deck. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense that you can shrink it and, like, not get blown out by it. But, like, we're probably about to die here. No, we're not. It's honestly very surprising. Without playing the Eidolon, you could have won by just holding up the Lightning Strike. Oh, gotcha. So hold up the Lightning Strike so that we can shrink it to where it can't play just bonker spells here. Oh, that makes sense. So we attack out. Yeah, I mean, we're like not attacking here. But I guess even then that's wrong because they're going to block the Soul-Scar Mage. So I shouldn't have attacked with a Soul-Scar Mage there. Obviously, I'm not playing very well today. Oh, they go to 1 here. And then we're going to die because I attacked with a Soul-Scar Mage, and I've played like garbage the entire way through. Is it based off their power? Hmm. Alright, they go to 12, or we go to 12. Why do they keep bouncing something back to my hand? To its owner's hand? So now they can cast spells, so... Yeah, okay. Oh, alright. Murderous Cut, Vortex, all seem good. Got the Epicures last time. Stand by that. They seem way too slow. Or is Epicure better than Sword Point Diplomacy? I would say yes. Yep, we'll go first. All right. I mean, this hand's just not gonna win the game. All right. Well, it's nice to know that they play Eidolon as Sanctity too. Land? Nope. Play Swiftspear. Play Soul-Scar Mage, say go. Yep. Okay. Put all three into the graveyard. So there's that at least. Did my opponent also keep a one-lander? So we'll attack for 2. We'll cast a lot up the stage here. Okay. I'm kind of surprised at 9 cards we haven't hit a second land here, but... Well... I mean, the Vortex would have been really good there. I mean, okay. Well, they hit a land. And we're probably just going to play with fire. Well, no, I guess we're going to hold up play with fire to shrink the... to shrink the 6-mana guy. We draw a land. Hopefully we do. We can play Eidolon. Of course, I guess we shouldn't do that, because even then, we're still taking a chance that they might have the combo rolled up in their hand. They just need to hit a black source. They only need 3 lands to go off. Is this deck something like... Anybody in the chat, is this deck like something that's popped up over the last few days? Like... Like, is this like deck relatively new to the format? Cast Tassiger here. Yep. Yep. Surprised he didn't attack for 4 there. I would have, as vigilance. That's it? He conceded? Wow. I mean... Maybe I want to cut the 4 Sovereign's Bites and bring in the 4 Searing Bloods to help me interact with the deck. It's not great, but it gives me a chance at least, I suppose. Alright, I don't know. Maybe this matchup's not as bad as I thought it was if I'm able to interact with them. I mean, I have to have a Soul-Scar Mage or a Vortex here. Like, Murderous Cut just happens to be, like, a random card that I like to play that I put in this deck. Murderous Cut is not a commonly played card in this format, so... we're going to see what happens here. Yeah, we're going to have to mulligan this one. Yeah, I mean... keep this... like, I don't think I can mulligan this. Need to find a Murderous Cut or a Soul-Scar Mage quick. Like, maybe I'm supposed to mulligan that because I don't have a Soul-Scar Mage or Roiling Vortex in my hand. I don't know. Like, it's very possible. They left all 3 cards on top, so that in no way can be good for me. Let's serve it up so we can cast a lot at the stage here. Hopefully we find land Soul-Scar Mage. Wow, okay. Didn't think I'd actually find land Soul-Scar Mage. That's not bad. It's not bad. They didn't cast that last turn, which means they didn't have it, so they drew it. Because they didn't 6 to their turn on accident because they played a land. Land, Sundering, Contingency Plan. And puts the other 2 cards on top. Well, come in for 2. I mean, I guess, you know, being able to interact on this axis is making the game playable for us. I don't know if we're in a good spot, per se, because they can just still attack us for 4 every turn. Now, Probably should use the blood token to loot away the risk factor here. Turns it into a 1/2. I mean, I don't have a way to do both here. We're just going to say go here. I have no interest in attacking. They have 2 cards in their hand. We can stop the combo with Searing Blood anytime we need to. Shout out to Smug here for letting me know that I could interact with the combo here with some with Soul-Scar Mage and some damage-based spells. So good call on Smug's part. Loot away risk factor. Draw a mountain's actually not bad. Okay. I mean, I guess we could still die here. Like, maybe it was wrong of me to just, like, get aggressive here like that, but... And they put 1 card on top. So this puts them to 12. 7 puts them to 5. I mean, maybe I'm just supposed to play Epicure, Skewer the Critics, and say go. Critics costs 6, though, and they only have 4 cards in their graveyard, so I mean, they have to go land. Yeah. Untapped land, play another threat into Neoform, allows them to kill us here. Is that a little Hooting Mandrels action right now? That's what it feels like. All right. Searing Blood this. This puts them to 2. I was like concession inbound. All right, well, we ended up winning the second round against the same deck. I guess you just have to hope you draw Soul-Scar Mage and hold up interaction, or we have to draw our one of Murderous Cut. Because we can Murderous Cut whatever they Neoform, or we can Murderous Cut the big guy. The 6/6 that they start casting all their spells with. Gonna be honest, I hope that deck doesn't become a staple of the format. It probably will, but I hope it doesn't. People are also going back to playing Kari Zev now in Mono Red Aggro, which is pretty interesting. I wonder why that is. That's actually just sheer curiosity. Like, I wonder why people are going back to that. I feel like Gatekeeper's just a better 2-drop. Like, not all the time, but I think in the format it is, but maybe that's just me. Having some combo decks is always good. If this joins Lotus Field and Ascendancy, I'm fine with that, as long as it doesn't push other things out, like the Oracle did. No, I mean, no, that's fair. Like, I don't hate decks like that, but, like, my problem with a lot of things, like, a really good example is, like, Lotus Field, you have one way to interact with that deck, like, for the most part. Like, you have hand disruption, or you just have to race them. Like, and I don't know, like, decks like that are just, like, not super fun in my opinion. And I kept this because we have double light up a stage. We're not guaranteed to hit a land or anything here, but... like, I'm curious to see if my opponent blocks here. We'll cast the light up the stage here. We'll say go, holding up the play with fire. More than likely being cast on the hopeful initiate. Thassa's Oracle was honestly just a miserable deck. Like, Thassa's Oracle was like one of those decks that, like, I don't know anybody that, like people played it because it was good, but nobody liked to play against it. Like, literally no one. This, what's this lane called? Sokenzan, Crucible, Defiance. Sokenzan is a really good card. If our opponent attacks with value here, I'm going to double block. Well, that's kind of awkward. Not being able to cast either of those is very awkward. The Fatal Pushes will be very good here, though. Fatal Pushes, Murderous Cut, Searing Bloods, all those will be very good here. Our opponent can just attack for 3 here, so... and I imagine they're taking Skewer here. We're just going to play our Soul-Scar Mage and say go here. Like, I don't... That Dahlia just locked us out of the game. I was like, is this another Kite Self Rebooter? Even though you know my hand is Brutal Cathar. Okay. I imagine they're going to get rid of the Eidolon. Okay. Yeah, you're going to put on pressure. Alright, we're just going to concede here. Our opponent's hand was just really good on the play there. Sovereign's Bite is good because it's a 6-point swing, but it also doesn't interact with the board, so it is a little awkward. I like to leave in a couple of risk factors here. And honestly, Voldaren Epicure just does not match up well at all. We're just going to bring in 8 removal spells and just play the same game plan here. We're basically just going to be playing Rakdos Control. That also applies some pressure. Yeah. I'm watching somebody on my other monitor who is double queuing right now, and my god. People are insane. Like, I don't understand who has any interest in double queuing. Like, it just seems so miserable to me. Now, I know I'm not everyone, but... So I really like this hand. I know that the lands are a little awkward, and we could just play the pathway here and take a chance that we draw a land, but I don't think that's the play we're wanting to take here. I think we're just gonna play Haunted Ridge tapped. Because I mean getting the Swiftspear down is good, but like at the end of the day, like I would rather have, because then next turn we can't play Fatal Push or our Searing Bloods, so... If our opponent plays Dahlia here, we're going to Fatal Push it. And we'll say go here. I'm going to click 2. I don't want them to think that we don't have anything. Now, we know that we don't have anything, but we don't want them to think that. Please block. I mean, I'm actually okay with just double skewering after combat here. Like, it sucks. But at the same time, like, Eidolon's just not a card we can really ever beat. So we just have to pretty much deal with that whenever we get the chance. Okay? I mean, that's fine. Because Searing Blood is just a blowout here. Unless they have like a lot of hope or something randomly. Which I suppose they could. I mean, so far we're putting pressure on and keeping their things off the field. That is how I like to play this matchup. Now, unfortunately, the way that the deck is set up, like the way that the decks are set up sometimes, it's just not really an option. Okay. This puts them to 11. They don't really play any like flash threats, so I'm not really worried about them flashing anything and I'm blocking. I mean, I said that. Maybe they are. Okay. So that works out really well because we get to play Eidolon and then just hold up Lightning Strike here, which is really solid. We're 9 points ahead, so this is where Eidolon shines. Now, our opponent is flooding out here, so it's not really a very fair representation of what this matchup looks like, but I'm just going to go to 18 here. I have no interest in blocking this thing. So this actually plays out really well for us. I mean, we're just going to have to take 5 here to play this. Yes. Alright, that dies. We put our opponent to 7, and now we have Risk Factor and Play with Fire. Risk Factor like really helps us put on the pressure. Slash allows us to like see some cards here, so Play with Fire was a very good draw step. Hey, Mystical Pot, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Appreciate you stopping by and hanging out. Yeah, so we're going to let all this resolve because now we don't have to take any damage. So I actually think that's very wrong, personally. And you're at 5, like, maybe our opponent's not worried about dying here, but they're either going to let us draw 3 cards or they're going to go to 1. Like, Risk Factor, like, this is where Risk Factor shines. When you're ahead like this, been following the YouTube channel for a while, clicked the stream because of the title and then realized it was you. Well, thanks. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you taking me out on YouTube and stopping by tonight. We're just gonna put that on the bottom. We probably should have played with fire during our upkeep. But I mean, we ended up drawing it anyway. Would have been better to do that. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe we don't want Eidolons on the draw. Eidolon is a good card, but it's also very slow and very bad on the draw. And that maybe Epicure just jumping in front of something and dealing a point is better. Let's try it like that. Of course, always drawn to red deck wins. Hey man, I've been playing like mono red aggro as long as I can remember. I love red aggro, man. So I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like this hand. Like we have some creatures and some interaction, but like so one, our lands are awkward, and we have 4 creatures and only 1 spell. I think this is better, personally. I'm going to go ahead and get the Swiftspear down. I like having the Swiftspear on the table. Is a freebooter? Okay. We're probably taking the Fatal Push here if I had to guess. I mean, I could have attacked there and just like bluffed. And if I would have like just attacked it very quickly, then it would have been fine. But I mean, even then, like, bluff doesn't really feel like it's getting us very far. So I think we're just playing the lot at the stage here. Like, I think we have to get some value. We have to get something on the board. So we have Mountain, Soul-Scar Mage, Fatal Push next turn. And then we have 2 cards in our graveyard and 2 resources, 2 mana. They're going to take the Fatal Push here. Our opponent has had very good draws. Now, the good news is that, I mean, like, 1 removal spell will get all of our other removal spells back, so that feels good. I just don't think I can't cast, like, I can't not cast this here. I have to cast it. It's not exactly great. Eidolon here is like a blowout. All right, man. Our opponents had very good draws here. All right, so they don't know about that. We're just gonna say go here. Murderous Cut, the freebooter. I mean, we're going to take 8. Oh, it's only 5. Well, I definitely did that wrong because we could have cast all of our spells there. We could have cast everything and just taken 6 and went to 5. But now we're at 2, and we're facing down 9 points with cards that when we target, we take life from. So, I mean, the game, like, I don't know what we were going to draw to get out of that there, but the game was probably over anyway. Discard this land. I mean, we drew quite a few lands there, and there's only 18 in the deck, so that's a little tough. But I mean, like, so yeah, the play mistake that I made there, and don't get me wrong, it was a mistake. Like not paying attention to the fact that Murderous Cut is 5 instead of 6 was tough. Was wrong on my part. We would have taken 3 less damage and been at 5. But we're still facing down 6 power. Plus they added a 3-bit Inspector post-combat. But I don't think we're gonna win that match when we don't draw some number of Searing Bloods. Like it's your best card in the matchup, and they don't have like, you know, Meddling Mage and stuff in this format, so. Well, maybe our opponent will join. If not, oh well, we'll just keep searching. Sad face. Come on, somebody play me. I am ready to play games. So a lot of the, man, I'm looking at an Arclight Phoenix that's not even an Arclight Phoenix deck that's not even playing Thing in the Ice anymore. Is that a thing? Has the Arclight Phoenix deck stepped away from Thing in the Ice? It would be wildly interesting, in my opinion, if they had. Would be curious to know. Really? Back-to-back opponents who didn't join? That is bizarre. That never happens when I'm playing Pioneer. Ooh, Rakdos deck that's playing out of the Ebon Legion. Now that I can get behind. A Chandra Dress to Kill deck with Karizev in it. Now that's spicy. Sandy Dog had a 4-0, a 4-0, and a Pioneer preliminary with an interesting mono red list here that I'm looking at. I think you drop Phoenix before you drop Thing. Oh, I'm down for some Ebon Legion. Dude, I love Night of the Ebon Legion. I really like Rakdos mid-range, honestly, if you want the truth. Yeah, it was a list that Mogg played. Ooh, oh, and he's playing Bloodthirsty Adversary. See, that card is so good. He's playing like Rakdos Vampire Synergy because he was playing 2 Sorens. Here, I'm going to bring this over here while we're searching. This deck's crazy. This deck is really interesting. It's like a weird Rakdos mid-range deck. But it has like the Vampire Synergy going on. I mean, there's only 12 in the deck, but it's still interesting to say the least, in my opinion. An error occurred trying to pair you with another player? What is going on? Say I had 5,000 points. Would you want an actual deck or a meme? I mean, that's up to you, man. Like that's why the option's there. Like a lot of people like pick things they want, like they like to see played that just don't get played very often. Is generally what happens. But I mean, one of my buddies literally picks blue-white control because he knows I hate playing control strategies in Magic. So I mean, it's it's kind of at your discretion. Whatever you want to do with that, man. It's probably the best opening hand we've had all night, honestly. I thought about playing the Rock after this, like playing Green-Black Rock. Ooh, is this blue-red Insole? I really like that deck too. That deck's a lot of fun. Temur Insole? What the heck is this? Tap an untargeted artifact you control. Wow, alright. Were you around in the Ravnica Theros standard? Yeah, I mean, I started playing in Origins, but like I caught the tail end of that kind of stuff. Like I know a lot of those cards. All right, let's attack. Play Epicure, say go. Can you play Witherbloom Command in Pioneer, or is that a modern staple? Oh, I've seen this deck before. I don't like it, but because there was a really fun mono red deck around that time that ran Burning Tree and Thunderous Might. I remember the mono red deck in that format being really good. That was more of the boss Sly strategy, right? This feels like a pretty good turn for us. I really hope that they don't have like a Spell Pierce here. That would be bad. but we get to put them to 11, and we have double risk factor left over, so not bad for leftovers. Yeah, this isn't the good mono red deck. Oh, this isn't the good mono red deck? Okay. Well, hit me with it. I'm curious to see what it is. I mean, I'd be happy to play it. I probably won't tonight, honestly, but I'd be happy to play it. Risk factor. What if our opponent gives us 3 cards or takes 4? They take 4. Let's attack for 5. I actually knew a guy. His name's Gary. He plays at a lot of my local shops. He's a very good Magic player. He says he always told me he played a lot when the risk factor like red deck was in standard. He played against me a lot then, and he always said that risk factor, browbeat, all those cards, like whatever they were. He says that card says 3 mana, take 4. And I refused to let it be anything else. And I said, what if you're at 2? He said, I'm going to die. And I was like, that's a pretty bold statement, but I like the vortexes here. Guess we'll cut this sword points to diplomacies and see what happens. Well, I mean, Epicure into Vortex seems pretty good. Now, if they have the 0 cost thing, they probably play around it. Like, they probably play the Opal this turn if they have it. I'm going to imagine that if they don't have it, they're playing it later. Or, I mean, that if they play it later, that they drew it, not that they had it. Okay, opponent. Hey. We see you. Well, the cool thing is that next turn I can go Swiftspear into Roiling Vortex number 2. Man, they don't have any artifacts in their graveyard to play, so it's artifact or creature. Feel free to not play it in a league. Lol. No, I mean, I'll play it in a league. Like, alright, it's $14 with no sideboard. Now, this is Temur Battle Rage. Thunderous Smite. 1 red and 1. Enchant creature. When enchanted creature attacks, it gets +X, where X is your devotion to red. That looks super fun. Alright, scratch that. I'm not playing the rock after this. I'm playing that after this. Like, don't get me wrong. That looks terrible. But it looks like a lot of fun. Well, anything that they don't pay mana to play here is going to cost them 10. They're just going to attack for 4 here, like, which is fine. I'm just going to go to 15. And then I'm going to Sovereign's Bite them next turn, which is pretty good value, honestly. Thassa's Oracle's not a bad one. Like, maybe I should bring in... maybe I should just bring in, like... Intertesting. Alright, they go to 12, we go to 16. I'm just going to say go here. Now they're going to be at 10. Play with Fire puts them at 8. Spin a This is... I don't really know what our opponent's playing, but it's interesting. Oh, Sai is a problem. That card is like... Alright, we're definitely bringing in the Fatal Pushes after this. Well, we're just going to throw this in front because we're never going to be able to... we're just never going to be in a spot where we can stop that. Just mades to upgrade to it for Pioneer. Yeah, I mean, like, you can definitely sell that there's cards that weren't in it during that standard, for sure. Not gonna lie, I was really hoping to see a... land there. Ooh, our opponent does give us a land. Sovereign's Bite's really good. Alright, so our opponent's at 5. We have to make sure we don't go below... we don't go to 2 here. Alright, they're going to send in with the clowns. Which makes sense. We go to 3. We Sovereigns Bite them. Concession incoming? Question mark? Hey! It's so funny that Roiling Vortex never, like, the clause of not paying mana never came up, and it was still good enough to win us the game. I mean, like, obviously looking back on that, this is one of those matchups that we probably want the Searing Bloods in, and probably the Fatal Pushes too. Like, we probably just want to bring in all 8 removal spells there, just because of, like, what they were trying to accomplish in general. Oh, somebody tried to call me. Oh, Xander tried to call me. I have to call him back after this. I'll call him back after we finish this league here. Probably calling to ask me about golf tomorrow. Going to play golf with my dad, my brother, and one of my buddies in the morning. So, for anybody who doesn't know, I'm a pretty avid golfer. Like, all right, what is going on here? Hang on one second. All right. Anyway, like, I really like golf. I'm not very good at it, but I do really like golf. And I bought a new set of clubs. I was borrowing one of my buddy's set of clubs last year when I learned how to play, and I bought my own set of clubs. And let me tell you, they feel great. I bought a Big Bertha Callaway driver, and it is a sweet. Well, drawing Haunted Ridge was actually just insane there, because it just allows me to play the pathway on the red side here. See, now this is actually really good, because I can just go up here, kill this, not have to worry about like anything like blowing me out here. Expressive Iteration's a good one. Now, we do get to play Soul-Scar Mage into Sovereign's Bite next turn, so... For playing it on the blue side means if they're doing anything, it's going to be a cantrip. Ooh, Eidolon is so good here. Alright, we'll attack for 1. Play Soul-Scar Mage. Alright, this feels pretty good. Eidolon was pretty solid. Now, we can put a good enough pressure down here against this deck, we'll win almost every matchup, just based off the way the games go. Alright, I mean, like, that's Stonewall Jackson into our 1/1 there, so... Oh, my stomach's making the rumblies. This Treasure Cruise? This feels like Treasure Cruise. Yep. kind of like just attacking here. They go to 9. We play the lot up the stage. We'll play that tapped, and we'll play the Soul-Scar Mage here and say go. We've been holding on to this risk factor for a hot minute, but we're getting to the point in the game where it's going to be really good. It's like they probably have another Phoenix here. Now, Thing in the Ice is solid because that allows them to attack and still block. Now, Swiftspear is actually not bad. Now, they'll block the Swiftspear here unless they're worried about losing their Thing in the Ice. But I don't think that's something they can really play around at this point, if you want the truth. Okay. Well, they can probably, I mean, there's like a very, very, very high chance here. Yeah, okay. I was like, they're going to flip Thing in the Ice. It's like with that many cards in their hand. Now, we don't have Boros Charm, so we don't really have like a guaranteed out here, but we do get to play Risk Factor here. They're not going to attack with the Arclight Phoenix, which is pretty smart. All right, well, I definitely should have just played the Swiftspear and said go. Wow, they just completely missed their out there. All they had, like, maybe they didn't have a removal spell. I mean, I guess it's possible. They're probably going to swing out here with the clowns. I mean, I'm blocking. Like, we have lethal in our hand. And I don't think they play main deck Spell Pierce here, so... I am going to play around it, even though I don't think they have it. Hey, Bim, what's going on, brother? How are you, man? Let's try it like this. I like having the Fatal Pushes and the Murderous Cut. Fatal Push is really good against Thing in the Ice. Like, not a lot of people, like... I don't know if a ton of people agree with me or not on that one, but that's how I feel about it. Well, third lot up the stage is... Like having lot up the stage is good, but having that many lot up the stages is not very good. Okay. Well, I do not have anything for artifacts. Man, so they just really take one there? That's really good for them. Oh my god, never mind. So they're just literally gaining a life every time they play a spell here? That is bonkers. Well, I don't think we're going to be winning this game. Gosh, that is so good. That has gained them, like, what, 4 lives so far? Why did I play that land? That was dumb. Jeez. Well, I mean, I guess there's like some kind of chance that like Curse just like does enough. Well, not if they have double Phoenix here, I doubt it. I mean, that helps us fight the good fight here, but again, I just, like, Eidolon is not even that good for us. Like, Eidolon's insane in this matchup, but it's not here. Sheesh. We go to 8. Yeah, we're just going to lose to the Eidolons here, or to the Phoenixes. They just played this, like, slower controlling game and we lost to it. That's kind of tough, but I mean, that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah, I mean, I think we brought in the right cards here to give us a playing chance. I think we just need to have a better draw. I like this hand. I think Sword Point Diplomacy is really good because they're either forced to take 9 or give us 3 cards. Okay. Alright, well, our opponent's at 14. Please don't have that 2-mana artifact. Oh, they didn't, which is interesting. Cast Sword Point Diplomacy. I mean, are they just going to give me all 3 cards here? That would be really interesting if they did. They did just decide to give me all 3 cards. I kind of figured that's what they would do. Like, none of those really like look to punish them super hard, so... Put our opponent to 11, play light up a stage. None of those were lands. Okay. Well, we do get to go Swiftspear, Shaken Faith Eidolon here. Or if they play like a thing in the ice, we can cast Fatal Push on it. I mean, yeah, like that's honestly fine with me. So we go Swiftspear, Curse, Eidolon. Now we have double Risk Factor and Murderous Cut in our hand, and our opponent's at 9. It feels like our opponent's just going to play Anger of the Gods after this. Well, they go to 7 off of that. That is the only reason I could think of that they would attack so quickly like that, is that they had Anger in their hand just rolled up. Alright, well, we'll play Curse number 2 and say go. They go to the bottom. This is a burn deck that is definitely just designed to beat up on the. That is like 100% just designed to beat up on the bigger decks, like the Phoenix, the Ascendancy, the Graveyard deck. I can't remember what it's called. The Lotus Field deck, like all of that stuff. It's just designed to beat up on all that stuff. We'll put that crap on top. I'm just gonna say go here and go for the Lightning Strike during their upkeep. Well, I'm not gonna lie, we had a better result with this deck than I thought we would. Knowing that I had a pretty decent result with that, I'm kind of curious to know what I would change. When you're looking at the metagame, the red-black like mid-rangey decks, like the Rock, the mid-rangey decks, you might have a harder time with those decks. Actually, I don't know. Those decks put on quite a clock, so it's kind of tough. But I think overall this is like a pretty, like, I think this is something fun you could play for sure. I don't know that you could ever have like super real results with this deck. Maybe you could with enough time and enough tweaking. I think the one of Murderous Cut is really sweet. Like, I don't think you want Thought Seizes inside of this deck. I just don't think that's the way to go. Thought Seize Go Blank is just not that's not the route you want to be taking to play this kind of strategy. So I wouldn't care to play this again. All right.